Today, no fluff, no BS, just a brutally honest look at New Zealand's economy and how it's messing with property. The popular Kiwi Bank chief economist Jared Kerr is back to untangle the chaos of a housing market that's wobblier than a politician's backbone during an election year. Are you just another passenger on the mortgage merry-go-round, or are you riding this economic roller coaster to financial freedom?
Financial freedom faster. Financial freedom faster.
If you want to stay ahead in the property game, join the growing ranks of savvy investors who actually know what's going on by hitting that subscribe button, and we'll keep you informed and up to date. Jared Kerr is a sharp, no-nonsense financial strategist known for cutting through the clutter with clear, honest insights. What's the forecast with inflation and the effect of Trump-flation on New Zealand?
Yeah, look, the market reacted to Trump before Trump. So I think there were some smart people out there betting in financial markets that Trump was going to win. We saw interest rates rising in response to that. So from a US perspective, forget the rest of the world, US perspective, Trump's a Republican, he's pro-business, and he's going to make some big changes because he's only got 4 years. He's going to come out guns blazing. So that is pushing interest rates, particularly in the US, higher on more growth expectations and more inflation on the back of these tariffs. That translates down to New Zealand's longer dated interest rates, pushing them higher as well. So our curve is really steepened. Our longer dated interest rates are much higher than our shorter dated interest rates, which are being cut from the central bank.
Yeah, it's been good to see some of those 4.99 rates coming through from different banks.
Yeah, absolutely. So inflation expectations are quite important because they let the central bank know what people are thinking over a longer period. You know, we all get caught up in what's happening right here, right now. So we got caught up with an inflation rate of 7.3. You know, many commentators were saying it was just going to continue or take years and years and years to get back down. And we really got caught up in that. And expectations, moved away from the Reserve Bank's mandate, basically saying, we don't think the Reserve Bank has done their job and we don't think the Reserve Bank will do their job. And that's a real warning sign for the central bank. Like, you can't have inflation expectations miles away from, your mandate, because that's your credibility right there and then. And the credibility was being tested. So I think that's why they went a little hard on the cash rate, and they lifted it, in my opinion, too high for too long. But it was all in the name of getting inflation, and more importantly, inflation expectations back to target. And here we are, inflation expectations beautifully at 2%. So if you ask a forecaster like myself, I fill in that Reserve Bank survey, or the CEOs of certain companies who also fill it in, we're all saying 2%. So a little bit high over the next year, but in 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 2%. Now, that's great for the central bank because they know things can happen with inflation now. But if we're all expecting inflation to drop back to 2%, then it becomes self-fulfilling. Some of the genius in central banks, it has been that forward guidance where they say 2%. So you walk away going, 2%, and it's in the back of your mind. And the CEOs think about it, 2%. My wife works in HR. She asked me what inflation was the other day, 2.2%. Bang, that's the number. Yeah. So they're quite comfortable that inflation will stay around 2% because expectations are anchored around 2%.
A reminder, if you're determined to outsmart every other New Zealand investor, smash that subscribe button and join our elite circle of market trailblazers ready to dominate the game. Let's talk about housing recovery. Now, I've seen some of the analysis coming from Kiwi Bank about expectations for continuing house prices. Want to go into detail there?
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into a housing market forecasts. I guess the first thing we look at is supply and demand. Simple way of saying, are we building enough homes for our population? The answer is no. Although our population growth has slowed a lot in the last year. So that ask, if you like, from the industry is a little softer given migrations coming off. But we have a shortage. We have a clear shortage of affordable homes. So that sort of underpins the market somewhat. And then the biggest sort of cyclical driver of house prices is interest rates. They cut massively in COVID. House prices took off. They hiked aggressively after COVID. House prices fell. And now we're seeing them cut again, which will mean house prices will rise. What we need to see is investors coming back into the market, basically. Owner-occupiers are there. First home buyers, we've never lent so much before. First home buyers been on an upward trajectory for many years, and we're actually lending more to first home buyers than we are investors.
Yeah.
And to think of that, investors are this larger group, first home buyers are this larger group. For us to be lending more to them than to the investor, it is quite a shock on the investor side.
Yeah, so supply and demand's holding prices steady, and the interest rates is impacting whether prices go up or not. So that's quite a good, clear indication there. Lending conditions. Now, do banks want to lend money right now?
Yeah, we do. I do come from a bit of a Kiwi bank bias. Obviously, we've had the door open the whole way through. We have been told by a number of mortgage brokers and people coming looking for loans that two of the large banks have sort of been holding back a bit. The other two still there, but not as competitive. Now we're really seeing all banks coming to market looking for loans. So competition's quite fierce at the moment. That's only good for the buyer, and the availability credit. As far as I'm aware, pretty much it's there. If you're interested, call the bank. I'm pretty sure we'll pick up the phone.
Yeah, I've seen cashback incentives have been quite strong, and pricing across most of the lenders it is more on the generous side than the difficult side. Certainly some banks price in and out of the market, but we're seeing that they've got the doors open waiting for deals to come through. So on the recessionary side, it certainly seems like New Zealand has been in and out and mostly in recession for what has felt like 5 years, maybe only technically 2 years. Is it realistic for us to see we are going to get out of this recession? Do we have enough indication yet that that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. I mean, we were saying, in the second half of last year that I think we can put a stake in the ground and say this is the end of the recession. So here we are in 2025, and I still agree with that sentiment that we had. I think the worst hit in the middle of last year, and there's signs that things are starting to get a little better. The next 6 months, unfortunately, for people listening to this, I don't think it's going to be fantastic at all. But I do think as rate cuts feed through, and they do take time to feed through, in the second half of this year, things will pick up. And we've talked about business confidence being key, household confidence being key. We just need that confidence to sort of feed into actual activity, and that becomes, self-fulfilling, and away we go into 2026.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way to shore that up would be to drop the OCR faster, and people. I
agree.
Yeah, when they get their interest rates going from 7% down to closer to 5%, and that they will start to get a little bit more money in their pocket, and they'll be able to pay their staff more as well. And maybe you're right. Maybe it is the second half of the year that things pick back up. A reminder, stay ahead of the curve in the ever-evolving New Zealand property market. Subscribe today and enjoy exclusive content delivering unrivaled insights and winning strategies. Anything you would like to add about what Kiwi Bank's up to, or about what people should think about before they lock in interest rates?
Yeah, I would just say that interest rates are still falling. So some of these rates that you're mentioning, probably close to the bottom, but I'd argue there's still a bit more to come through. So they should come in a little lower. And if we're right, that they'll keep falling into the middle of the year and then probably plateau for quite a while. So that's kind of our expectations of interest rates, still further to fall, and then they'll hold for a while into 2026. So, interest rates are becoming, more affordable. Housing market, if we're right, starts to bounce back in the second half of the year. That'll boost everyone's confidence, and even people on this line. And a stronger housing market does actually feed directly into businesses as well, because many businesses, the small ones, take out a loan that's linked to a house.
Yeah.
So their house price going up just makes them feel a little bit better about their own business finances.
Yeah.
And Kiwi Bank is open for business massively. Like, we are pushing hard into business banking. So, watch this space. We've already grown at a rapid rate, but I think we'll continue to grow at a rapid rate in small business.
Yeah, I found Kiwi Bank Business Banking to be quite helpful. So if you are looking at cleaning things up with refinancing or restructuring this year, clean up the tax arrears, clean up any personal loans into the mortgage. Don't be afraid to hit subscribe, and you get the best property and mortgage insights, and get in touch with Mortgage HQ, and we can link you up with Kiwi Bank as well to get things tidied up, get you a good rate and the right structure. Thanks for joining us, Jared. Hope we can talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. As always, it's good fun.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
More cash, passive income coming fast. Make your money work for you. Live the dream, it's overdue. So don't just wait, take control. Mortgage HQ will make you bold. Financial freedom's in your hands.